She banged on my gate like she was kicking down the gates of hell itself. "Open this now," she screeched, hair disheveled, red-faced, stomping in those ridiculous wedge sandals. But she didn't know the one thing that mattered most: I own every single property on this block, including hers. It all started because I dared to do some renovations on my own land. Can you believe that? I just put up a locked iron gate to keep the crew's tools safe overnight. Nothing wild, just practical security on my own driveway. But oh no, the Karen sisters' HOA chair across the street took that as a personal attack. "Excuse me," she hollered the next morning, storming up like a tornado wrapped in polyester. This GATS not in the community agreement." I blinked, mid-sip of my coffee, watching her wave her clipboard like a holy relic. "It's not visible from the street, Denise," I said calmly, trying not to laugh. "And I'm not in the HOA." She gasped like I'd slapped her with a cease and desist. "Yes, you are. Everyone on Maple View Circle is under HOA jurisdiction." "No, Denise." I set down my mug. "You lease. You don't own. And your lease, like everyone else's here, is managed by me." Dead silence. I wish you could have heard the way the birds just stopped chirping. You're lying." I pulled out my phone, flipped to the property management app, and showed her the list. Every address including hers. "You signed through Cypress Hill Rentals." "That's me. I own the LLC." Her mouth opened and closed like a goldfish on a countertop. Then she exploded. "This is a setup. A conspiracy. You're violating HOA Code 4.7. Sigh. That was the first of many tantrums. Over the next week, she rallied her sister, also a tenant 2 doors down, and the two Karens went on a warpath. Flyers were printed. Emails were blasted. I was violating aesthetics, threatening uniformity, and me personal favorite, undermining community values. But what really got me? The lawsuit. Yep. They actually filed a civil complaint. Accused me of illegal gate installation and threatening community stability. The nerve. I countered, of course. My lawyer nearly choked laughing reading it. I attached the leases, permits, and emails showing they'd both been late on rent for 3 months straight. Not only did I file a dismissal, I filed formal eviction notices the same day. But Karen Prime Denies wasn't done. Oh no. She went full scorched earth. She gathered neighbors for a board meeting, screaming outside my driveway about how I was a slumlord tyrant, even threw a folding chair at the locked gate like some suburban WWE reject. It bounced off with a clang, and she screamed like the gate had insulted her ancestors. I stayed inside. I watched through the curtains. And I waited. 2 days later, the court date came. Denise strutted in with that smug look like she was about to win a People's Choice Award. Her sister had matching floral prints on me. Do they always do that? And I just sat quietly in the back with my lawyer. Judge asked for evidence. They handed over HOA bylaws printed off Google. I handed over property deeds. Original leases. Email threads. Photos. The judge raised an eyebrow. So you're suing your landlord for managing his own land? The silence was delicious. Denise tried to backtrack. He's abusing his power. We didn't know he was the owner. Judge tilted her glasses down. Ignorance of a lease isn't grounds for litigation. And per California code, this is a frivolous suit. Case dismissed. Loud and clear. But that wasn't the end. See, the eviction notices weren't symbolic. Once the court tossed their nonsense out, the timeline started ticking. 30 days to vacate. No appeals. And I didn't stop there. The very next day, I handed flyers to the rest of the block. Ownership updates and contact info, I called it. Clean design. Little welcome note. And at the bottom, a hotline for complaints about them. Suddenly, everyone remembered how often Denise screamed at mailmen. Or how her sister parked diagonally in everyone's spot. Complaints poured in like a tidal wave. And me? I filed a notice to terminate the HOA agreement entirely. Turns out, that tiny HOA was operating on expired paperwork. I gave the required notice, filed with the city, and within 45-day spoof. No more HOA. Now the block. Peaceful. Quiet. Calm. Well, except for one moving truck. Denise and her sister packed up their drama, their matching outfits, and their cracked lawn flamingos and drove off with screeching tires. The gate? Still there. And now? It's got flowers around it. Oh, and the best part? Right before she left, Denise had the audacity to try and negotiate. Maybe we can reach some agreement, she sniffed. Like reduce the rent, or... I just smiled. This was the agreement. You sued your landlord, Denise. That's not a lease violation, it's just stupid. She never looked back. Serves her right, huh? You don't go to war over a gate, especially when the guy who built it owns the battlefield. And if you thought that lawsuit was bad, wait till you hear what happened with her cousin next door. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it.